Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us, for taking the time to meet up with us. I know we are about 7 minutes late from the scheduled time. We are waiting on a couple of people to join in. We've got, as of right now, 40, up to about 40 attendees. You know what? Let's start off. First of all, I'd like to thank HSNM, Miss Marisa Tazari, and
Nice to meet you, all of you. It's a pleasure to have you, all of you, on board.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And thank you very much, Mr. Uh, Giuseppe. Is that correct? Giuseppe. Okay. I almost got it right. Again, thanks a lot for the attendees for taking the time to meet up with us. Without further ado, I'll pass on to Miss Marisa.
Yeah, I divided this webinar into 3 main sessions. The last one, I left it, to any questions that can arise from, this webinar. And Giuseppe and me will try to give all the answers to your doubt and if you have any questions. Well, the first session is dedicated to HSNM for Business, to a more sales presentation, because it's not what HSNM can do for you, is what you can use to respond to all the needs of different businesses request. So first of all, we are Prometeo. We are the developers and owner of HSNM Hotspot Manager. We have been in business for more than 35 years. HSNM is on the market, for more than, there is written 10 years, but we are reaching, 15 years now. So that's are the figures. We represent, worldwide, our country, presence is increasing, every year. We had, as everyone, 2 years where we have our internet service provider system integrators that were still working, but COVID, of course, was, created, caused a big stop to everyone. So why, businesses need HSNM? First of all, there is a growth in, the digital market worldwide. If you think to the figures, you have over almost 5 billion users using internet, and over 4 billion active social media users, that are increasing every single year. Especially if you check, the figure, plus 10% of the active social media users. That is a huge number. And so that's why, social media login is becoming more and more important. First of all, because it gives an easy way to connect to the internet. Second, because you can see that, a wide range of users have their social media login. So we have, new demands coming, from the market, and we have to give an answer to all these demands. First of all, the first demand, having, such huge amount of internet users, is to manage the user's internet access and ensure and distribute in an equal way, the access. So giving, Wi-Fi plans to the users, and avoid that I have users and guests surfing, over and watching YouTube video, watching their Netflix or Sky movies, and other guests that they cannot even surf the internet or check their emails for business. So that is the main bullet point that we have to cover. Second, of course, is the captive portal, because you use captive portal, or what we call welcome portal, to promote your business, and also you allow an easy way to log in, collecting data, email validation, and SMS validation, and also secure website, secure surfing for your guests, and that is new for version 10 that is coming, and we will release it in a couple of weeks. And also security on data retention. In Europe, we have privacy policy. In other countries, they have their privacy policy, but is growing. The world is trying to protect, data in all ways. So now we have an all-in solution that you can install locally in your country. You don't have to use any cloud solution. You get your HSNM that is robust, is unique, in the market. It's also scalable. And now we check, all market targets for HSNM. One is travel, transportation, shopping, gastronomy, public services, and events. Now we go through, the main target, the main customers target. One is travel. And the key point for travel is, to customize a guest engagement. Second is integration with PMS. Increase, online reputation, thanks also to surveys and also to measure the customer satisfaction. Because you need to have, satisfied customer. Now, before booking a hotel, restaurant, every one of us is checking, the feedbacks you can find over TripAdvisor or Google. So, you can customize the access to the Wi-Fi. It's 100% responsive. You can customize your language. You can add, of course, even Arabic language with, right to left text. So you can customize HSNM as you want. It's a tool for your marketing, and you can use also CSS, JavaScript, and HTML to customize, to make also deeper customization for your login page, and create also, a flow of different steps before gaining access to the internet. And you can also have, a multi-welcome portal where you can give access, for instance, that is a cruise line. We have also cruise ships, worldwide that have, two different login methods on the same splash page, one for the guest, the other one for the staff, unless they bypass the MAC address. But usually on cruise, even the staff is charged for Wi-Fi because they are getting bandwidth from satellites, so they have to put a voucher code. And that's why the reason why they don't bypass the MAC address of the staff devices. So you can have, different multiple login forms, even using the same hardware infrastructure. So you can have just one hardware and have different login method, different areas to offer to your customers. So you can see here, a splash page, even asking data, in Arabic languages. We have also as our customer oil rigs that are extracting, oil. I put it on purpose because I know that in many countries, especially, in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, you have oil rigs on your sea. So you can put a HSNM on board, and they will spare, bandwidth, and staff can log in immediately to the Wi-Fi, entering, a voucher or purchasing through modern payment gateways. You can also scan. We have the QR code, so you can scan it, to access to the network, or you can create your cards with a QR code on them. PMS integration is what many hotels they ask. So HSNM is integrated with a protocol, a secure protocol to connect it to Opera, Fidelio, and Proteus, as they have the FAIS protocol. And if not, if they have no protocol inside, we provide APIs for free inside HSNM, so you can integrate your PMS, even local PMS. We offer to hotels, hospitality, flexible plans. You can you can create different plans based on time, data, a number of devices, the speed, download and upload speed. You can have freemium Wi-Fi plans. Freemium is, on the top of the request at the moment, because they want to give some minutes for free or 1 day for free, some data for free, and then ask the guest to pay for premium Wi-Fi plans. And also, one of the most important features is surveys, where you can ask a customer about their satisfaction, and you can get also notification if the rate is not as high as expected. You can get an email, you can get an SMS as manager of the hotel or as staff of the hotel. Well, that is digital maps that we introduced in version 9. If you have big hotels, if you have resort, you can create digital maps and drive your guests through all the entertainment you have inside the hotel. We now look into education, where, of course, you need, to cover other needs. For example, Wi-Fi for students and teachers, dedicating different Wi-Fi plans, different login option, or external authentication, because most of the students, they have, their account inside the uni, inside the college, so you can connect HSNM and make only students be and be able to log in through HSNM. So you connect if they have, Microsoft Active Directory, or if they have G Suite with Google, you can make students connect only if they have their college account. Now there are a lot of distractions in school, but also in modern offices. So you can block all websites that are not suitable for studying, and they can create distractions to students and teachers, like gaming, dating, even social media. I think that even in your offices, you have also, people watching, Facebook or the social media account instead of working. And you can also launch, surveys to students to know if, not if they are happy with the school, but which kind of lessons, which kind of courses they would prefer to attend to. And another section, another target is shopping and public Wi-Fi. So with this presentation, I would like to demonstrate that HSNM can be suitable for a lot of businesses, for a lot, of customers. So you can enrich your portfolio of customers, just, enabling different features inside HSNM. For example, for shopping malls, it's relevant to have their data, because if you are in a hotel, you have already data of your customers inside your CRM. While if you are a shopping mall and you give free Wi-Fi, the most important feature is to profile your customer, because you can, for instance, you can promote when they are inside, the splash page. You are promote using, advertising, tool, and also having a heat map where to advertise the most. But where they are outside, the splash page, how can you reach them? You can reach them by asking different details. For example, you can ask their email address, you can ask, the city they are coming from, the age. So you can profile, their emails, their campaigns, their email campaign, and not only when they are inside the structure. Another way to engage the user is their social login. Social login because you get some details, not all of them now, because it's difficult to get, it's not difficult, it's because Facebook does not allow anymore, to send, data like it was making before, like sex and so on. But you get also some data from Gmail, their, Gmail account. So you can send emails in a second time, because you can connect HSNM with MailChimp, for instance, and you can send some email campaigns later. But using social login, talking about social, you can also, if you have a campaign active over Facebook, you can connect the welcome portal to Facebook Pixel. So when they are over, their timeline, they will see your campaign. They have just seen the splash page inside HSNM, but that was enough to connect your campaign to their Facebook account, because you can enter the Facebook big pixel that belongs to the campaign. So, for shopping malls and public area, having, data, will allows you, to make, many different things in a second time. Even checking, with Google Analytics, as I told you, connect to MailChimp account and send, different emails in a second time. If you have other, CRM, you can connect also with, API inside the system and send, or you can download your user inside the system. You can also use, digital maps to promote sales, to promote products inside while they are walking through the mall. And you can create, you can build your quality audience, you can create your database inside HSNM and synchronize them with your external tools. So, we also go through, what other HSNM customers will need and which kind of benefits they can gain from HSNM, apart, the one we have already seen earlier. So for hospitals, you can create Wi-Fi for staff, patients, and guests. But you can, when you step into a hospital, you can see how much difficulty is, to find a department. So you can create, your digital maps for the users. There is also a route that you can tick, and HSNM will automatically create, the fastest route to reach a place. So you have your wayfinding inside the splash page. You can also locate where a doctor or a patient is, or an equipment if it's provided with Wi-Fi. So inside the platform, you are looking for a patient that is using your Wi-Fi. You just check inside HSNAP where the patient is. think about, care home where you have ancient, old people that maybe they get lost inside the structures. So it's, easy for you to find where the patient is, or even this, old patient. And so, you can also, when you have a heat map and you see where people are located, you can also optimize your network. And also, if you think during pandemic, you see where, crowded places are, and you can avoid, overcrowding, and speed up, the procedure for optimizing the place. On moving vehicle, we have also GPS tracking. Is not only for guests that are on buses, vessels, trains, to see where the buses is going to or where the train is going to. It's also for the business, for the owner, for example, of coaches, to see where, coaches are and which route, they are, because they get a map inside HSNM with the route with all its moving vehicles. You can also target advertising based on GPS. If you have museum, if you have a restaurant, and you want to promote, for example, meals during lunch, think about, step in and drop in and drop off, buses. You can promote, all your venues using the advertising based, on the GPS and where the moving vehicle is. Now we'll talk about licensing and levels of, HSNM. HSNM has its own Radius server inside. It's our Radius server. We developed it, and you don't need to use any kind of external Radius server. It's all in, everything included. Well, it's that is not my department. That is not my business. Mr. Giuseppe, who is here, will go through if you have any question about authentication, authorization, and counting, the AAA of Radius server. I just, give you, just some ideas about how high availability, because you can have high availability systems, two licenses connected, HSNM installed into different servers to provide high value services and continuity. Now, at the beginning, you can start with a HSNM. As soon as you increase your business, you can also move, to a second HSNM and connect them in round robin, so that they balance the working, and they have automatically data replication on both. That's our hardware partner. There is no Huawei and the latest, hardware, because we had no time to put, all the brands. But I think that for you, the most important, brand are Ligway, Microtik, Fortinet, and others that are on the market and that are, high level vendors. Teltonica, for example, is another one. And that's how we supply HSNM. We supply as a hardware or a virtual machine that you can install on different hypervisor. Virtual, you can install them on physical server or virtual server on cloud. But Giuseppe will go, will just drive you through deeper, this virtual section. Licensing model, we have up to 10 different levels, is a pay as a growth solution. So you can even start with license level 2 with 5 networks and then move, from the license to the other. You don't have to buy a new HSNM. You just pay the difference between the level you have and the level you want to reach. Then is levels are based on the networks that you have. For network, we mean the number of router or number of controllers that you have. Access points and users are unlimited. Users can be connected, not connected, are unlimited. So we have also now, HSNM X1 that is for system integrators, especially because you can install HSNM X1 at each location, and it has a special price because you can manage, up to 2 networks. It cannot be upgradable, but it has, a very, on my opinion, if you are a system integrator and you have a hotel where they want to have 2 networks, maybe one for the staff or one for the restaurant and the other one the rooms, that is, your level, and it can be provided as a hardware all in one, but you can also download into a virtual server or a mini PC, and you can deliver it to your hotel, to your structure, to your hospitality structure. Talking about advertising, that is an apart module where we count active campaigns. It means that, for instance, you can purchase HSNM Level 2, but AD module with license Level 1 with 5 campaigns. That are 5 campaigns that can be displayed even to all your locations. The system counts only the active campaign. I mean the campaigns that you activated at the same time. You can create even 10 campaigns. You can delete one, modify one. That's the system counts only the one you want to launch at the same time. How we deliver HSNM? HSNM is delivered with its brand HSNM, but it can be also a white label solution. You can change the logo of the main platform and the logo for all your resellers if you are an inter-service provider, of all your managers. So when they enter, when they access to the platform, they will see your logo only. There is in the splash page powered by HSNM. You can hide it thanks to CSS, but you can also have what we call a branding program. So we deliver HSNM, with your brand. You install it with HSNM brand, and then we access, to the backend. We move HSNM. We put your logo. You have your 5 icon with your brand. You have your powered by branded, customized with your brand. While white label solution is free of charge, branding program has a charge. But you can apply your branding to any HSNM that you sell or resell. Free trial period, every, for, if you want to test HSNM, we give you the ability to download it from our website. We give you a 30-day license, and if you want to continue using HSNM and you decide to purchase it, that license becomes yours. So you don't have to install a new HSNM. That license is turned from demo into official. So when you install your HSNM and you get the license, you can connect your hardware, you can connect your users, you can do whatever you need, because that HSNM can become yours. And well, I thank you for the attention to this first session. Now we move to HSNM to the platform. Giuseppe. Devo chiuderla a fine presentazione. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Larissa. Thank you very
So
much
now,
for the presentation.
yeah, thank you, to you. I now I will log to HSNM with default username and password, and I will show you, how it looks like. So we, HSNM is a multi-tenant and a multi-level platform. It means that when you, the first time you log in, you will have your system level, reseller level, and manager level. You can create, that's all your levels, because from a single system you can manage all your locations. And if you have, for example, a hotel chain, a restaurant chain, you can give a HSNM, and install it to the headquarter, and the headquarter can manage all the hotels all around, for instance, United Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Oman, or wherever they have their hotels. If you have a single hotel, you can sell a HSNM, to the single hotel, and you have, the ability as well to create your reseller, because the hotel can resell vouchers or charged Wi-Fi. So you will have, the ability to have all the structures, the figures inside the system. So when you access to the system, there is a menu where you can create your admin system users. So persons, figures that will access to the HSNM that belongs to your staff. For instance, they want to check, how many users are connected, or technicians that want to change, for instance, the general options, and how, maybe the SMTP server or whatsoever. So you create your system user with a username and password, and you can give them, specific rights, specific permission, because the system gives you the ability to create different roles for the people accessing to the platform, that at system level, reseller level, and manager level, and if you have also for an advertising company, because you can also sell advertising. You can have advertising agencies accessing to the platform that they want to check how many clicks, how many impression, conversion of their campaigns, or maybe also change, the amount for each click or each impression. So you can see that even at other level, you have, system users that you can create or change permission. Well, when you create, when you access the platform, you have your reseller, and your reseller is the one who is reselling for internet service provider your service, or can be a person that is reselling, vouchers, is reselling Wi-Fi plans. And you can set at system level currency and payment system, but each reseller can have its payment and currency system. Maybe you are based in Sudan, or you are based in Africa, and you have also resellers in other part of the world. So you can set their currency code, symbols, and also you can allow, if you want, to enter their payment system, their payment gateways. They can be Stripe, they can be PayU-based, or One Voucher, M-Pesa, if you are if you are based in Africa, for instance. And that can be also applied for the manager, because the reseller or you can have, as I told before, different location worldwide. So maybe you have a hotel in the USA. Instead of Indian rupee, you have to put the dollar here, and also the currency symbol, and the system at each level on the dashboard will convert, all the sales, in the currency of, for instance, of the resort, or the manager, or the reseller, or of the system level. So converting, based on the exchange rate of the day. You can see in the dashboard we were talking about selling. You can see the amount of the cards that have to be activated, sales from card, from voucher, and other methods. So how you can administrate all the amounts coming, to the platform and coming to your wallet, because we don't gain a penny, we don't gain a cent on your sales. You enter your payment details of your payment gateway if you want to use more than payment gateway, or you create your vouchers, but we don't take any revenues from your sales. And now we check, all the levels, because under system you have the reseller level, manager, and you have what I always say, it's the most important level of the platform, because it's where you decide how to authenticate users. You can have different authentication methods, as today we go through, hotspot, not, PPPoE registration or residentials, because HSNM can also manage, residential users or PPPoE users. We just see, hotspot. If you have any other questions, then Giuseppe will reply you if you have questions about PPPoE users. We have, you can, that's, self-service registration, or without, password, or with social login of only, or OTP, one-time password sent by SMS. During the last years, I found, many banks asking for one-time passwords. So they offer, free Wi-Fi, to their customers, but they want to send a one-time fast face to the guests that are stepping in, as they are doing when you access to your bank account. And if you put, use as a service registration with no password, you can ask also other details to the guest. Like, as I told before, you can ask about the first name, last name, city, sex, day of birth, month of birth. That's are important if you want to send, a happy birthday card, a happy birthday email on their, special day. You can ask also market consent, to the marketing, to newsletter, because inside HSNM, each figure can edit its statement inside the platform. And there are, other, buttons that you can enable for auto registration, for display registration confirmation once, the guest confirmed their registration to HSNM, to your hotspot. Another important, feature is external authentication. So you can enable Facebook, Twitter, Google. In this case, we enable Twitter and Google and Facebook. I can decide not Twitter. And when a user logins, they have also the ability to use their social media account. First of all, I have to create my app and enter, my ID, my secret inside the platform. So, first of all, you have to create your app your Facebook app, and then you can authenticate users through Facebook. You can have device recognition, where you can hide based HSNM records, the MAC address of the device, so you can recognize the user based on the device you have inside the device recognition. You can put yes, hide the username and password field, or yes, suggest them. You can also put, a device expiration. So, after, that number of days, the device recognition expires. You can enable languages for the users, English, Spanish, French, Italian. The system has already 5 default languages, and you can add 3 additional languages. But you can also change, this English, Spanish with your flag, and change them with, if you need, other languages apart, English, but you need your local languages only. And you can delete, you can change the Spanish, French, Italian, and German, and put your languages or dialects, or, which language you prefer. And we have also the section for translations, so you can change, all the translation. If you don't like the English, it's inside the system. You can move it and change, every single words. Here that's the reason why I told you that the domain is the most important level, because it's where you decide how, to charge or not, Wi-Fi plans that we call products to the users. In this case, we have already, 3 Wi-Fi plans that we offer to the user. The first one is 6 hours of internet connection that we give as a free product, and I put yes. Another one that I sell it, so I put my selling price, and another one with you can see that I have 5 hours internet connection at a price, and 3 hours internet connection at another sales price. That is the price your guest will pay to you. You can add unlimited products, Wi-Fi plans, because you have the ability to create unlimited products to offer to your guest. Now we check, I was talking about domain. In my opinion, is the most important level. Under the domain, there is the gateway. The gateway is where you have, to set, to connect your router if you are using MikroTik, or your controller or access point if you want to connect a single access point, or your controller if we are talking about, for instance, about TP-Link. You can connect their controller. If you are talking about Unify Ubiquiti, you can connect their controller. And there is a setup guide that drives you through all the steps that you have to perform to connect your MikroTik, your Lego Wave, and all there is also another link, another list of hardware. GrandStream was one of the latest, together with Huawei and Ingenious, that we connected. You can see here there is also Ligway Infinity that you can connect and to HSNM. Well, that is fields for configuring the gateway. I leave this section to Giuseppe, that in about 10 minutes he will join me and show you more the HSNM in a more technical way. And now we check, the products and policy you can combine, you can enter into your domain. Well, first of all, policy and products can be created at system reseller and manager level. It's like, it's a cascading order. If you want to offer the same Wi-Fi plan to all your customers, or, all the hotels are using the same product, I suggest you to create at system level. But if you have, specific requirement or Wi-Fi plans for a specific manager, I would suggest you to create it at manager level. So we have already some Wi-Fi plans created. We call them products. We click and I show you what you can enter inside the product. Well, you can give, first of all, a code and a description that the users will see when accessing and try to purchase the product. That is the cost, because the manager can pay, a cost, can have a cost of this Wi-Fi plan, especially if it's purchasing bandwidth too. In the product, you can limit, you decide, the time and data allowance to limit for the guest. You can have daily time, you can have data time, data allowance that you can limit every day, every week, every month, but also a total time or a total data that you can limit. Product is also connected to a policy that is here. You can click here and you reach the policy where you can limit the speed in download and in upload, and also you can limit the number of devices that can be connected using the same username and password. That is, if you put 0, you allow unlimited devices to connect to the internet. Once you create all your product and well, first of all, your policy and then your product, you are ready to enter into your domain which one you want to use. Or if you want to create and you want to sell voucher, first of all, I have to enable inside my domain that I want to sell also vouchers. You can create your voucher management. Inside the platform, you can have the ability to create your vouchers and cards. Voucher is equal to a username and a password if you want, or even only a password. You change the or called also, a password to enter, but it's a user, while voucher is a method to top up your credit. So you can see from here where I can print, the voucher. You can also design your voucher. Now is white, but I can also have different voucher, different image, because I decide, my image, I can have, classic, template or on 2 columns, or I can customize it completely by, using, you can see here, as it opens a custom template with CSS, HTML, where I can customize completely my voucher. Or if I put, classic, I can have, a background image that can also be, colored, or I can upload an image, from my PC and apply it to, the voucher, so that when I create them, it's, I have my image in line with, my general image of a hotel. I can create all the vouchers I need. I can, as I told you, print, and, I created just one, but I can create more than one. I can combine it, as a voucher with my product. So in this case, I create maybe 1 hour of internet connection that cost me $1, and I sell it to $2. In this case, it's rupees, not dollar. Sorry, it's I create 5, and I save. Just a second. Okay, then I can print, all my voucher. I decide the length of my voucher inside the domain. You can see it. I can decide the code type for my voucher. I have to decide it before creating my vouchers. And I decide the length from the easiest code that can be a 4-digit code to a more complicated voucher that it can be, this one. It depends on the location you want to offer vouchers, what kind of vouchers they need. And I can print it even on a normal A4 paper, or I can connect to the, you can see, I can, every 4 voucher, I put a stop, or I can create on 2 columns. So I can, save some more paper. And, I can use a normal A4 printer, or HSNM gives you the ability to purchase a thermal printer. You have just to click, have one, and you get your voucher or your card. That is, extremely easy, to create vouchers and cards. And now we just see, how, a welcome portal appears. That is a preview that I can see. For instance, customer won't, see all the flags, because all these flags give me the ability to change, the translations in a very quick way. They will see, it's a preview, but, of course, they won't see them. That is, I recharge it, refresh it, and log in with an app coming first. So I can, now I didn't connect it to an external URL, but I can click it and I am redirected to an external URL, to book my holiday. I can have without it, just to give an idea how I can customize it, and the login form appears immediately. I can hide, the login form, so I have, another, background inside. And, you can see that I can register using my email without any kind of password. I have to agree, because on the splash page, I gave it the ability, I need to give consent to the privacy policy, subscribe to newsletter, and so on. That is something I enabled inside, the domains. Yes, yes, yes. And of course, I am forced to tick all of them before I gain access to the internet. Now we have a look to all of the templates I can create. Templates can be created at system, domain, and gateway level, always as a cascading order. So if I need to apply, that template to all my gateways under the same domain, my suggestion is create it at domain level. If you have a hotel, for example, that wants a specific template, create it at a gateway level. That is just for you, for organization, for a better organization. So, from you can have, an intro. And you can have, your splash page that you can customize with different image on, your backend. Giuseppe, io non vedo più. Okay, just a second, background. I can upload, image from a file, but I can also have, image from Flickr. I can put, my hotspot location image. And so when I refresh it, I will have my hotspot location image, or upload a simple image from file. And I can customize also with background colors, using, for example, a background for the header, for the text, for the site, background, and I can customize, my HTML head using also CSS and, JavaScript. Inside this welcome portal, as I told before, you can also put an intro. Yesterday evening I put a YouTube video as an intro, and that's why it appears before I can log in. And you can also customize the info app, the login app, with a dedicated image. And what else inside, as a splash page, you have also the possibility to have your to hide, for example, the login app, the surf app. We have some default apps inside the system that we created, but you can also create your apps inside the system and enable them or disable. For instance, where I put this kind of template. Just a second, we check inside the domain the kind of template, because you can reach your template just by clicking this button. There is inside my template, inside the welcome portal, the possibility to add a custom app before the login form. Custom app can be, just a second, I can go to my custom apps, can be created by myself. I need, first of all, to decide if it's an internal app or an external app. In this case, it was an internal app. So I have the ability to have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's what my colleague at the marketing department did. Create this custom app, Kata Adventures. And so I have the ability to choose it and put, as an intro before I can see, the splash page. This is an app, and you can also, it didn't, but you can also put a URL inside, this app. And well, we saw the template, and now I also tell you where to redirect users once they log in, or once they register. So you can also redirect users to, for example, the hotel website, or to the shopping mall website, once they finish their registration, or every time, they log in. When we talk about shopping malls, we talk about also advertising. Advertising inside HSNM is these are two different advertising, campaigns. Now I deactivated it, otherwise every time I show the splash page, this advertising campaign comes out, and so I deactivated. You can deactivate them, and by blocking or suspend this campaign. Inside the campaign you have a start date, an end date, and also activation hours, because you can launch a campaign during lunchtime and another one during dinner time. You can put a total budget that cannot be exceeded by that campaign, put a daily budget, a click for each cost, a click for each impression. You can geolocate the campaign and also give a target. Before I told you that inside the domain, you can decide which kind of data you want to collect from the user. So think that you are collecting, data, and you ask about the city, and they are all coming from Dubai. So in the advertising campaign, I can, create my target not only to anonymous users. Maybe I can create a campaign for anonymous users, but I can also decide to put a rule, to put a filter. When I select, the city or the sex, for instance, the city equal to Dubai, then this campaign is for all these people coming from Dubai. Sì.
Chiedono da se riesci a fargli vedere qualche dashboard o qualche report.
Okay, well, I think that, from, my colleague is, tells me that you would like to see some report. I think that, Giuseppe can access to another HSNM where there are some data that are populating because they are testing version 10. And so I think that it will access to another platform populating, that has data populated. I just need, another few minutes, more or less 2-3 minutes. I end with the advertising campaign. Then I pass the ball to Giuseppe, who will, introduce you to more technical feature, and will show you a dashboard with populated data. Inside, the campaign, you can put a video, a specific URL to redirect the users. When they click the image, you can put banners, and each banner can have an impression time, but also an image with the link to redirect it to when they see the image and click on the image. You can also enable pop-up. Pop-up are like warning. You can have a statistic image like a warning, maybe, that can be useful for students, or for, warning about, or just cannot be also a pop-up advising them about a new course or something, happening in the school. But you can use it as, a video to promote, for example, a pub, a disco, in the hotel, or the swimming pool, or whatsoever it appears while customers are logging in. And that is the advertising campaign that you can launch, on all your location, or on a dedicated location, because you can also have, when you decide the definition, you also decide that in which domain or in which gateway or category you want to launch the campaign. The last but not the least as importance is the survey. As I think in in a preview, there is also a survey appearing, and you can create a survey with, with you can rate, if your stay is, good or not, and you have the ability to create, all the survey that you need inside, you can create it at domain level, system level, and gateway level. I suggest to create, the server where you need. Second, that's our, general data. It's where you decide, starting date and end date and the frequency. You can always, but only one time, because if you launch a survey and you ask about, if they like the room, if and everything, you can't, launch this survey, the when user log in, when a guest logins, because it doesn't know if the room is comfortable, if everything is fine. So it's better you launch it after, 1 day, after 2 days. And you can also display a thank you message, maybe with a code where they get a special discount. And also you can send them an email with a thank you message if the rate is greater or equal to a score that you decide. So if the rate is positive, you send them an email thanking for the feedback and maybe inviting them to publish the feedback on TripAdvisor or Google. If not, if it's not, good enough, you can send an email with a score less or equal to, for example, to the manager of the hotel and alerting the manager to go to that guest and try to solve the situation. Well, now from my side, I think I go through the platform and I hope it was interesting for you. I pass the ball to Giuseppe, who will be happy to share his video.
Ok,